We're diving into more of our top 50 science fiction, movie, and TV adaptations. Some of the best sci fi literature of all time coming to the screen. Let's see what we have 30 through 21.
So hi there, and welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where father and son sit down and talk about fantasy, sci-fi, and other nerdy things. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim. And today we're leaning into that sci fi realm. As you saw in the title, in the intro, we're counting up or down. I never know how to describe it when we're going a top 50 and we start at the bottom. But, anyways, we've got 10 more fantastic adaptations for you. Our ranking of this list is an attempt to be objective, thinking what are the best movie and TV things, when you just sat down and watch them. Are they truly the tightest, best adaptation of the source material? No, not necessarily. That's not what we're worried about here. We're talking about appreciating the content we got to experience.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm interested in what you think of our lists. We've got 2 previous episodes, 50 to 41, 40 to 31. Today, 30 to 21. If you missed those previous ones, go check them out and drop some comments on what you think of those films and shows that we listed. Likewise, for today, use the comment box. Tell us what you think.
What do we got?
If they're going to tell us what they think, we have to reveal these, don't we? And of course, Zach hasn't seen this list, so
at all
what he thinks. Number 30, The Running Man, the 1987 adaptation of The Running Man by Stephen King. In a
totalitarian. You still can't say the word.
Can't say. In a totalitarian future, a wrongly accused man must participate in a deadly televised game show to win his freedom. It's a critique of media, authoritarianism, and entertainment culture, which remains strikingly relevant today. This is an Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle, but it's actually a quality film. It also has Richard Dawson running the game show, and at that time he was famous for the long-running Family Feud. So it was perfect to see him, and he nails his performance.
There are other works of literature that discuss these same kind of themes and vibes. There are other shows and movies that have done something along these lines. This isn't my favorite of these things, but it stands there, and it's probably one of the earliest.
Okay, I have read the source material, and it's a decent adaptation. Actually is. Number 29, Snowpiercer, 2013. Adapted from La Transpersonnage by Jacques Loeb. French again. In a future ice age, the last remnants of humanity survive on a train where a strict class system divides the passengers. The film is a visually stunning and allegorical look at class warfare, oppression, and survival.
This is one that I find, if people know of it and have seen it, they think it's pretty good. But it falls through the cracks.
Yeah, it does. It does. But it's worth your time. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. I can't speak to the source material. Again, French.
Haven't read it.
Number 28 is one where I really would have liked to put it higher. I really dug this movie, but I'm trying to be objective. The Invisible Man, the 2020 version.
You did really like this movie. I remember seeing you watch this. I did not watch most of it.
It's adapted from The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, but again, a very loose adaptation. That's just kind of the source inspiration. In this movie, a woman is terrorized by her abusive, now invisible ex-boyfriend, who has discovered a way to manipulate invisibility. Or I guess he's manipulating visibility. It transforms the classic sci-fi story into a modern psychological thriller with themes of control and gaslighting. So it's actually very relevant to the personal experience of many, sadly, today, but it's great science fiction and a really, really effective thriller.
This hits into a list of horror movies in the last decade or two that mess with one of your various forms of perception or play around with that idea. And it's been a very successful concept for these movies to have done this lately. We've had a lot of good horror movies come from that.
This was very high on my top 25 horror movies, by the way. So much higher than it shows up in the science fiction. Number 27, The War of the Worlds, the original 1953 classic. This is adapted from The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
I was very curious which version of this you were going to go with, but I knew this was going to show up in the list.
Again, the more recent one, Tom Cruise. It impacts the film. But the original, man, it's great. Martians invade Earth, wreaking havoc and threatening the survival of humanity. The classic adaptation captures the apocalyptic terror of alien invasion with groundbreaking special effects for its time. I can still hear the sound of those lasers.
For its time, though, because, like, looking at it now, it looks bad. Like, it looks really bad.
But it's the story that's great. Now, if you want great special effects, go watch the more recent version, which has stunning special effects. But the story is better in the 53 version.
I know it's bad enough.
The remake, I actually do enjoy the remake too. Dakota Fanning was awesome in it.
The old version, the effects are bad enough that it feels more like it should be like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing. But it's too good of a movie for that.
Too high a quality.
So it's just like a really weird place of being like a movie that I can enjoy with that looks so bad.
Number 26, Contact, 1997. Adapted from Contact by Carl Sagan. A scientist discovers a message from an alien civilization and sets out to make first contact. The film expertly balances scientific inquiry with spiritual questions, exploring humanity's place in the universe. True fact, Carl Sagan was not a science fiction author. He was a scientist, a astronomer, very famous at the time. You know that guy these days, the famous astronomer?
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yes. Carl Sagan was deGrasse Tyson of his day. Okay. And we end up with a movie. It's pretty cool, actually. I enjoy this movie. I'm pretty positive you've not seen it.
I have not.
So if you want to go back, its effects hold up better than The War of the Worlds from 1950.
Well, I mean, it's a little more recent.
Number 25, The Time Machine, the 1960 version, which is adapted from The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells has shown up in these many times. He's classic sci-fi that just deserves to have adaptations.
Possibly a hot take. I don't actually like a lot of the H.G. Wells I've read.
I have read all of these H.G. Wells materials.
I think they're interesting concepts sometimes that the delivery I didn't particularly love, but it does lead to some decent adaptations sometimes.
In this one, a scientist invents a machine to travel into the distant future, discovering a world divided into two species. The film captures the spirit of Wells' exploration of time and evolution with memorable visual effects. You would find it dated now.
Probably.
Number 24, Solaris. Or Solaris. I think it was Solaris was the correct pronunciation. 1972 film, an adaptation of Solaris by Stanislaw Lem. A psychologist sent to a space station orbiting a mysterious planet confronts his repressed memories. There's much more to it, but that's the simplest summary I can give you. It's introspective narrative blends sci-fi with deep psychological exploration. It's kind of a heady movie.
It sounds like an interesting, deep movie that I've never heard of.
Number 23 is probably another one that you haven't heard of, but that would be sad. Logan's Run, 1976. It's adapted from Logan's Run by William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. In a future society where life ends at 30, a man escapes the system to find freedom. The film's exploration of utopia and control is still relevant with iconic visuals and themes.
I love and hate the idea that to create a utopia, we have to get rid of anyone who's going to be older.
Yep. You see where they're going with that, though. You understand.
No, I can understand what the premise and why and where that would go.
Yeah.
I also think it is a dangerous narrative to run with.
Oh, yeah.
And it's why it, therefore, is a successful story and project.
Right. Number 22, much more recent, Under the Skin, the 2013 adaptation of Under the Skin by Michael Faber. An alien in human form prowls Scotland, luring men to their deaths. Its haunting, minimalist storytelling and evocative imagery make it a unique, unsettling sci-fi film.
I don't know. Did the men deserve it?
Well, some. Not all. Number 21, our last for today, is one I know you've watched some of because we talked about it recently. Westworld.
Oh yeah,
2016 to
sometime.
I think it finished in 2023.
It finished. The
2022.
4th season came out that I haven't seen.
It's adapted from Westworld by Michael Crichton. It's another Michael Crichton.
There's another Michael Crichton.
Yeah. The summary: a futuristic theme park, human-like androids begin to question their existence and rebel. A gripping meditation on consciousness, free will, and morality, with twists that keep viewers on edge. I appreciated the twists that come in the story.
It's done well, and in this case, what carries it for me is particularly good acting. It's well done.
Yeah, definitely. Solid cast, well delivered, but again, a great story. That's where we stop for today. What did you think of this list? Again, comment box, tell us. And come on back to find out what's on our top 20 over the next 2 episodes. You're probably still waiting for some of your favorites. You haven't heard them. Will they be there? Probably, but you'll have to see. Say goodbye, Zach.
Bye, Zach.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.